firepower to kind of match them. What kind of ways do you think you'll improve on from what you've done the last 3 games?
Yeah, it's a delicate balance because you're talking about a team that's scores about 40 a game, and so it's there's a choice to make of trying to keep up and outscore them at any cost with no regard for number of plays your defense runs, or somewhere try to manage the tempo. Their defense has given them quite a few points, so no question we're going to have to score. The teams that have limited them, only 2 teams have held Cal under 30 points this year. Washington held them to 7, and Stanford just held them to 17. Turnovers have played a huge role anytime they're under 30 points, and so turnovers are a huge factor in this game, and I think special teams play are a huge factor. The rest is about what it's going to be, I think, what they've done this year. So to me, the ability to create turnovers and conversely hold onto the football and then special teams play with field position is going to be really important.
If it does get into a shootout offensively, has the offense shown you enough that you think they could keep up with that?
Hard to say. I mean, Cal, I'm not sure how many teams have kept up with Cal in terms of scoring, and I think we have to play good enough defense to not make sure it's just that alone in terms of a scoring match only. We have to play good enough defense to where it just doesn't become that.
Can you talk about their quarterback? How good is he relative to what you've seen?
The system makes him great. He certainly can throw the ball well, and he makes good decisions. I think only 6 or 7 interceptions on the year with a million throws. That's an exaggeration, but lots and lots of throws. But the system has him delivering the ball accurately and on time, and he's difficult to get to. So I think they do a really nice job with their system.
Granted, they're only 5-6, but they were 1-11 a year ago. What have you seen as the difference between last year and this year for them?
Consistency. So again, the games they've lost, they've turned the ball over more frequently than the games they've won. A year ago, they turned the ball over much more frequently.
How has Christian Stewart's play kind of boosted the team's confidence that they can?
Oh, I think Christian has gotten better every week, and so I think as the team has noticed, he's just simply saying, I'd like everyone to increase at the rate and improve at the rate Christian is. I think he's kind of set the standard that way.
In past 2 games after Thanksgiving, you've had really bad first halves against Nevada and then at New Mexico State.
You have a good memory. I would have never been able to tell you either one of those.
Nevada last year was probably your worst start. Is that attributed to Thanksgiving, or what? Can you put a finger on?
Maybe we ought to call off Thanksgiving this year and see if that. Oh, that didn't appeal to you, did it? No, I don't know. I think sometimes it's just the opponent. I know at New Mexico State, besides the media, there might have been no one else in the stand, and Nevada at that point was really struggling, and so both those games were kind of a downer in terms of emotionally when we got to them. So my guess is that had something to do with it. Hard to say.
Will you change up your routine this week at all?
No.
Anything Robert and I can bring to this since he worked with Sonny Dykes?
Yeah, we've already got some ideas. In fact, the system we're defending was very similar to what we did here at BYU Robert's first time around. So there aren't many surprises. Cal is doing it with good talent at quarterback, at running back, and at receiver. And so the talent base is a little bit different, but we're familiar with what the concepts are, and Robert's been able to be helpful already.
They take the wide splits?
No, not to the extent that we did. But the past concepts are very similar.
Going forward, you've got a fair amount of Pac-12 games at the end of the season. You like those games?
Yeah, I do. I like as many good teams as we can play from beginning of the season to the end of the season, and so I see this as a step in the right direction for November schedule.
What can translate from the Savannah State game to the Cal game?
About the first quarter, because that was really the execution and improvement we were hoping to see, and then we basically pulled as many players out of the game as we could. But I thought our team handled it well. They were prepared well, and they executed well to start the game.
Secondary play is obviously going to be big. Can you talk about the progression of your secondary?
Making progress. Really, the improvement of development of Jordan Prater has been really helpful, and having Michael Davis as a depth player to spell Rob Daniel has been helpful, and I think the emergence of Kai Nakua. Kai has had his hands on maybe more balls than anyone else in our secondary in limited play. So when Dallin Levitt got hurt a few weeks ago, Well, even against Central Florida, it kind of forced us to play Kai, and all of a sudden he's in a pretty featured role, and he's making a lot of plays. So I would say Prater and Kai Nakua, those two coming along have helped us.
There were a few players that got the start last week, namely Austin Heater and Michael Davis got first reps. Was there any reason for that?
Quite a bit. Not only consistency in practice, but the nature of opponent, and then resting from some other players.
Did you like what you saw from
Yeah,
both of them?
I liked them both.
Is there anybody that got significant minutes on Saturday that may get a little bit more this week?
I wouldn't say anything substantial. Austin Heater, I think, helped himself, and so we could see some more of him. And Michael Davis, we could see some more of him.
Is Fred Warner's injury potentially career threatening?
It's not career threatening, but it is season ending.
And what was it? Was just
It's a back injury, but the details I don't know.
Starting with Middle Tennessee State, you guys started to apply a lot of pressure to quarterbacks, limited to one touchdown. They were averaging 36. Do you see that pressure ability continuing, and can you get pressure on Cal's quarterback?
The pressure on Cal's quarterback is more difficult because of how quick they throw the football. If you choose then to only rush 3, he's certainly capable and accurate enough to give you trouble that way. So you have to do as many things as possible with different tempos to maybe keep him off balance. With one tempo alone against this team is not the right answer. We have played and have a lot better identity and idea of who we are defensively starting from Middle Tennessee on, and we have some momentum going, so I think that ultimately will determine the outcome of the game.
Have you settled on a punt returner?
I've not settled on a punt returner. Any ideas? If you guys want to have a lottery or a poll? Yeah.
You mentioned momentum. What would 4 straight to end the regular season heading into the bowl game mean to this particular team?
It'd be fantastic. And that's what our intention is, and we have a lot to play for. And so I think it's an intriguing game, and it's fun at the end of the year to have an intriguing matchup and a challenge.
What are you looking for to replace Jay Omer, and do you have a timetable?
I don't have a timetable. Ideally, I'd love to start the off season with our new strength coach in mind, our new strength coach in place. Balancing that between finishing our season and recruiting, there's a lot on my plate right now. That would be the ideal, but I won't be limited to that or just saying that's going to happen for sure.
What kind of person are you looking for in that spot?
Well, there's a couple of criteria. They have to absolutely be a great fit at BYU, meaning someone that loves the standards, loves the mission of the institution. They have to be a fantastic culture developer, meaning I love guys that work hard, and I want our team to work very, very hard. So they have to be able to promote and push that. And then fabulous competency at what they do. So a great fit with someone that can develop the culture and be fantastically competent in developing strength and speed and agility and flexibility.
What has Jay meant to this university?
Jay is consistent with what the ideals of the school are. He's a perfect example of who belongs at BYU, and not only does he help our players, but he cares a lot about them.
What's the balance between the holiday, the family, and everything this week, and your job and getting a team ready?
Yeah, it's difficult. So normal practice schedule through Thursday morning. We'll acknowledge Thanksgiving Thursday afternoon, and then team is back Friday morning at 10. So basically, we've scheduled to where Thursday afternoon our team has a chance to be with their families and loved ones. Up until that point, I hope to keep them as occupied as possible getting ready to play a good team.
Can you step back and enjoy that with a game coming up and those things running through your head?
There's a reason Holly and the kids are probably heading to Montana with their family over the weekend. So if that answers the question. Sad, isn't it? But no, it works out good. We might have turkey sandwiches before she leaves, and then the kids and she will have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll be working on football.
I also wanted to ask about the recruiting, philosophy as far as LDS kids, because sometimes you have LDS kids that want to come in and play a position maybe you're already loaded at. How do you because you always want to get the best LDS kids, how does that kind of balance out as far as the philosophy?
It's a delicate balance, because when we tell them that we're loaded at a position, most of the time they get offended and saying we're better than who you already have, and so that kind of pushes you into a corner of me saying I don't think you are, and then they usually go elsewhere. If I say, man, we'd love you to come to our program, this is who we already have, there are other positions we could need, then sometimes they're open to that, sometimes they're not. So a lot of times just how receptive they want to be, it has a lot to do with whether they come to BYU or not.
Cal has a defensive end named Harrison Wilfley, who's just what you said, a returned Mormon missionary. Was he on your radar at all?
Not that I remember.
From Sacramento, played at American River, JC.
No, I don't remember. And so Yeah.
The other day, when you talked about redshirting and moving away from that, you mentioned that you'd like missionaries to leave in January. Is that so they play a year, and then leave? And is that a kind of a change?
That would be the hope. Just as now I've had a chance to experience and see the kids that are leaving right out of high school, you know, with the age change. In general, anytime a player, and again, a mission is still first priority, but anytime a player leaves in the summertime, it basically says that when they come back, that will automatically be a redshirt year because there just isn't much time. Based on their ability level, it actually limits a number of things in terms of future opportunities if they're considering being an NFL player because of age. And what I think is best currently is, and we will facilitate anything that a young man wants, but if they're asking me, I love the idea of them playing a semester first, then leaving in January. I think it works best for everybody.
Kind of a homecoming game for DeAndre Wesley. Can you speak to maybe his experience at BYU?
DeAndre's been a really a strong asset. We've needed him. He's played well, and through that stretch where Coach and I came in and we needed so many JC or so many offensive linemen, DeAndre's been one of the ones that has had a starting role and been really consistent.
Do you envision any other assistants besides Jay Omer leaving or retiring?
I don't. I'm also not naive enough to know that the profession's volatile. I don't intend to make any changes if that's the question. Coach O, and this was completely his decision. It was just time, and I think he's really looking forward to seeing his grandkids. He'll be hard to replace, but coaching is coaching, and hard to ever know who's staying and who's going.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks.